In the 1920s, Harlem's most feared kingpin was a queen. Her name was Stephanie St. Clair, and she ruled the streets of Harlem long before Frank Lucas or Nicky Barnes. And when the mob's most feared killer came for her empire, she didn't hide. She declared war and won. This is the untold story of Harlem's godmother, Madam Queen, on Learn Some. In the 1910s, a young Stephanie St. Clair stepped off a ship from her home island of Guadeloupe and passed through the crowded halls of Ellis Island, where she was processed into the United States. She came with little money, but very big ambitions. By the early 1920s, she was running the numbers game in Harlem, an underground lottery played by thousands every day. It was cheap, fast, and offered hope in a city where banks wouldn't lend to black residents. A dream that cost pennies and could change lives overnight. St. Clair wasn't just another street boss. She kept meticulous books, hired trusted lieutenants, and paid her people well. Her operation raked in hundreds of thousands a year, untaxed, unregulated, unstoppable. She knew when to play generous benefactor and when to be utterly ruthless, funding schools and lawyers for Harlem's poor while crushing rivals who stood in her way. But power draws predators. In the mid-1930s, Dutch Schultz, the Bronx beer baron, decided Harlem's numbers racket would be his next empire. He sent men to threaten her runners, hijack bets, and squeeze customers. Schultz had already forced out rivals in the Bronx and Manhattan. Most bowed to him before the first threat was even spoken. But Stephanie St. Clair was not most people. Instead of surrender, she took the fight to the streets and the headlines. She placed bold ads in Harlem newspapers warning residents not to play Schultz's numbers. She bribed cops to look the other way while her enforcers fought back. Crews ambushed Schultz's collectors, took back stolen bets, and made it clear Harlem wouldn't be conquered. She even filed formal complaints against corrupt officers on Schultz's payroll, daring them to act against her in public. It was a war of bullets, bribes, and boldness, and she wasn't losing. In the middle of this war, she brought in a sharp-dressed enforcer named Bumpy Johnson. He handled the muscle so she could run the business. It was the start of a partnership and a mentorship that would define Harlem's underworld for decades. In 1935, Dutch Schultz was gunned down, not by St. Clair, but by the Mafia itself. With her greatest rival gone, she reclaimed her turf and solidified her legend. Even after stepping back from the streets, her name still carried weight. Stephanie St. Clair proved that in a world ruled by men, a black woman could rise to the top and stay there. She outsmarted the mob, defied the police, and left behind an empire built on brains as much as bullets. And when Madam Queen finally stepped away, Harlem's underworld didn't get quieter. It got sharper. In the shadows, her protege would soon turn her lessons into a legend of his own. His name was Bumpy Johnson. Be sure to click here to learn about him, as well as the rest of Harlem's most notorious figures in our Harlem Hustlers trilogy. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned some.